with their highest cutoff marks, why are people from the East not the most in public service, Aisha? Human rights activist Aisha Yusufu has asked an important question based on her observation of our public service sector, an area or region that is considered to be educationally disadvantaged are always aided when it comes to education in the sector. One of those help that they receive is the reduction in their cutoff mark to gain admission into university. Because education is important and the government wants the people to be educated, there's always a reduction in the cutoff mark requirements when they are processing their school admissions. Apart from the reduction of cutoff marks, there are other benefits they enjoy. The northern region in Nigeria is considered educationally disadvantaged. So in her tweet, she says the people of eastern part of the country are expected to get the highest cutoff marks. Why are they not the most in public service? Aren't we supposed to put our best foot forward? So yeah, that's I don't understand how. Yeah, even how can does this make sense? How can how can you reduce the entry requirements or the standard because of a region, because they're disadvantaged? I think that's even condescending to the people of that region. What you should do is invest in their school system and make it education a priority in terms of building better schools. If it's going to be vocational, institutions to learn things, do that. Not that you reduce the national standard or then you increase it in one region, you reduce it in another region. How are you building your labor force? How are you building your workforce? I don't understand. So the article says, from my personal experience, I was surprised when the Teaching Service Commission released the cutoff mark for just the concluded Kwara State Teachers Requirement Examination. The minimum requirements from people from Kwara North was 40 marks, while it's 50 marks for other people in the state. Why is it always like this? Again, I think it just shows how Nigeria is so ill-regulated. I don't know how to put it, but it's like, what's the point? What is the actual what was the aim? Because there's nothing good that would come out of this. If a place is educationally disadvantaged, you go there, you have the funds, invest in you're getting proper teachers, pay them their good salaries, who have the qualifications. You pay, you build, schools with the highest standard. You have competitions. You should make school free, public, non-rival, and non-excludable to the citizens of the country. That is what you do. You don't patronize them, and then that's insulting. So then they reduce the entry requirements for anything in a region just because they're educationally disadvantaged. Oh hell no. They're writing the same exam, or the test is going to be the same for all. There's no one test that's harder than the other. It doesn't make sense. Someone says, thank God you are asking this question, sister. Ask your people of the north and the present government why it is so. And in reply, someone says, nepotism hidden under federal character. Absolutely. I mean, we talk about nepotism in terms of the big leagues. We talk about, the people in the executive position of power, just the government level. But then when we look at the policies that are meant to be applied and implemented towards the actual citizens of the country, the nepotism is just so blatant in our faces. It doesn't make sense. Someone says it is because your brother's discrimination and favoritism is against the Southerners. Exactly, because of being educationally. Okay, I don't know what this person is saying. A lot of injustices and nepotism in Nigeria because of the persistent agitation for Biafra. It's so petty. But then again, if you look at, with Biafrans, they're highly intelligent. First of all, they are highly aware and sensitive. If there's any group that sees through the BS of the government more than anything, it is the Biafrans. And of course, all they just have to do is breathe. And then the government is literally on their boots doing the most, getting the investigative forces to go down there and fish out the ESN members. That's when they know they want to show their power. But when it comes to Boko Haram and insurgents, they start negotiating. They start bringing out all the money. That's when you know that, wow, so we actually have money to be dashing out like this. Another comment here says, do not consider, or they don't consider the people of the Southeast to fill the vacant positions in public service. Exactly. So no matter the high scores in examination, the people from the Southeast, they know it. They tell their children, go to the university, get the knowledge and establish a business, or go abroad and showcase what you've learned. That's why you see Igbos excelling in businesses and in different fields. Tell your children, don't expect anything from this government, because as your name sounds Igbo, your file is trashed to the bin. Let them be wise and learn a trade. We are Igbos. God has ordained us to make wealth. Okay. I think that is very, very true. That is very, very true. This is a good comment. Someone says, what do you expect when the northern leaders who hate Western education yet play their nepotic attitude towards fixing the educational disadvantaged people for employment at the helm of government affairs? What do you expect when the offices that should be managed by a competent and intelligent person for better output in fixing the economy is given to a parochial cattle rearer whose office practices are strange too? And what does the northern leader clamoring for one Nigeria expect the educational advantage in the country do? Yeah, exactly. And it says that's the reason most agencies are crumbling and incompetent people are everywhere. Absolutely. And to think that, the northern part of the country, in terms of the people, statistically, they account for almost 80% of government roles. It makes sense, the kind of policies that are being passed and the lack of critical thinking. Again, if you are doing this to your, sometimes we cause our own problems, and it's just so sad. It's like self-sabotaging. What is the point? It's very sad. It's very, very sad. But again, it's like, the fact is, as someone has said, they're not necessarily expecting people from the East to be in public service. What? I mean, this is the exact reason we're talking about, Igbo presidency and all that. It's again, from the country's inception, the East is not necessarily a part of Nigeria where, the government, the northern part of the people, are basically, in line, or they go well together. They don't. The beef has always been there, and again, it's self-sabotaging, because again, the cutoff marks for your own people are lower than the rest of the country. You're breeding people who are not up to standard, and who are not, in terms of, they're not necessarily raised to higher entry requirements, and you just make the experience easier by patronizing them, which is very, very sad. Put what you think in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.